Hey, scrappy people. Tracy Reed here today with day 6 of 2022 December Daily. Today I'm going to be documenting our family pajamas and likely our only family photo of the season since I have very camera phobic children lately. I'm going to be creating a page that goes with this page that I created yesterday. So it's going to be just this side of the spread. And so because it's a single page and I'm focusing mainly on this large photo, I think I'm going to work in the page protector, which means it's going to be an actual 6x8. I thought about maybe having this as a divider between the two pages, but I'm not sure that I'm going to do that. I think I like the way that they coordinate together rather than dividing them up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a 6x8 in the page protector with this photo, very large photo. So just going to build around it. And then I'm going to have this 2 3x4 divider in between the two pages. This goes really well with the previous page. And of course the story is, all one story. But it's a good way to get these extra pictures in without adding a second side to the spread. So this is about our Christmas jammies and how I spontaneously bought pajamas for the dogs, which of course they absolutely hate. But I did manage to get a picture of them sitting by the tree. And so we're going to scrapbook it. This, okay, so I've already made these cards in my December Daily Prep series, all two of these cards, yeah. 2 of these cards. These are the back sides of these cards. So I'm going to be using the back sides to scrapbook these photos. Obviously, this takes up almost the whole 3x4. And then this is where my number is going to go. So, all right, I think that's as far as I've planned so far. So let's get started.
All right, so this is what I call a weekday layout, which means I don't have a ton of time. I'm working on this on a Tuesday afternoon when I should be designing the Halloween line I'm working on instead, but I needed a break, so December Daily it was. So this is not intrinsically going to be a difficult layout. This is going to be one of the ones that's easy to replicate and tells the story, but doesn't add too much complexity to the album itself. And I'm totally okay with that. My pages go back and forth between complex interactive layouts and these easier layouts that, this one focuses on the important part of this story, which is that photo of my children and I and my husband and my dogs. The photo and the story are the important part. And so sometimes that's just how the layouts go. And anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just adding some texture here with some paper tearing. I like to use paper tearing a lot to add easy texture. And most of the time I'm a little bit more precise than this. But again, weekday layout and Crate paper does not hold up to adhesive well. No big deal though, because I'm just putting everything right back down. But good to know that this is not a paper that you can just peel the adhesive off of it and expect the paper to be okay. You're gonna have to be more careful than that. So I've got some, I love that blue tree paper in the background, and it's gonna coordinate really well with the other side of this spread. But I wanted some color as well. I did add that black and white snowflake and that pink and red plaid just for a little bit more color, because there are a lot of colors in the journaling cards that I'm using. And also, I love color. But just sort of thinking through what I want to do here beyond just matting these photos, which is basically what I've done so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this card that is my number card, and these Vicki Boutin chipboard numbers are so incredibly thick that I always peel off a bunch of the backing so that my layout or my album isn't too chunky. My layout isn't too chunky. I should have added the adhesive to that tag before I put the chunky number on it, but of course I never think that far ahead. And I'm just going to create a little collage here to go along with the rest of the collaged cards that I have going on this page. I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to go back and forth a couple times on this card because I was struggling to make it look completed in my brain. And so I'm going to put down this number and this poinsettia and this tag, and then I'm going to come back to it later. Oh yeah, I'm going to add the joy too. I figured if there was already some chunk going on with that chipboard, I could add this flare and it would not make a difference as far as thickness wise. So I'm just going to put this away, and then I'm going to hop around on this layout a bit, which is what I like to do when I'm just sort of playing. I go back and forth between all of the different aspects of my pages. I wanted to make this a little bit more interesting. The photo was almost the exact same size as the card, which is not something that I do very often, but I guess I wasn't thinking very clearly. And I printed it at 3.75 by 2.75, which is just 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then I cut it so it had a white border too, which took away from that 1/4 of an inch. So what I decided to do was offset mat it and sort of have it going off of the corner and getting rid of some of that white space down there in the bottom so you could see more of the patterned card in the background. I added that Christmas tree because the green matched so well. Now I'm kind of looking through this trying to figure out what I want to add. I didn't know what I wanted to do for my title, and then I saw this gigantic, my God, these puffy stickers from Simple Stories are gigantic, these titles, but I saw this gigantic Christmas, and I figured it would be, this would be a good place to put it on a big old 6x8 layout. I decided I needed to move my photo up a bit so I could have room for that gigantic Christmas, because I'm going to add the word jammies to it as well, so I needed to move everything up, and you can see this paper just absolutely crumbling under pressure. I just needed to move everything up so that I had more room at the bottom. I'm going to let that Christmas sort of cover up the bottoms of our jammies a little bit. You can see them just fine over the top. We don't need all of that plaid. I was going to use this black alpha, but I didn't really love the way that it looked with that banner. And then I remembered that I used the 5 from this number sheet on the opposite page for day 5. And so I wanted to use the green letters and pair it with the red Christmas. And I thought that that looked really great with our actual jammies, which are red and green. Oh, I actually really like the way that that looks. Made me happy. I'm going to make sure it's nice and centered. And then I'm going to plop it down and add in those little hollies on either side to frame the whole thing. But I was still feeling at this point that I was just like, this is not interesting. Like, I'm all for simplicity, but I still want my pages to make me happy complexity wise. So I like simple but complex. I'm a simple but complex girl. What can I say? So what I always do when I'm like struggling a little bit with a layout is I turned my camera off and I started cleaning up. And when I find that when I start cleaning up and going through the things that I'm cleaning as I clean, I find that it helps me to think. It helps me to see things in a new light that I didn't see while I was filming, and it helps me to finalize things. So that's what I did after I put this frame on this card, which helped me to finalize this card. Oh, and these little hearts too, I'm going to stick on here. But that's what I did is I turned off the camera and I started cleaning up. So I'm going to stick these down. I decided to go with 2 green hearts, and my glue clogged itself within like 5 minutes. So I went and got different glue. But I decided to add 2 green hearts to this page this card because I felt like there was a lot of green everywhere else and no green on that page or card at all. So I added 2 green hearts, and then I decided that I needed red on the green card. So I'm going to add a little red heart to right there in that corner where the Christmas tree is, and that made the color balance a little bit better visually for me. And then I turned my camera off, and when I did, I found these crepe paper enamel dots. All right, let's turn the camera off, Tracy. Turn it off. There we go. Found these crepe paper enamel dots from Mistletoe and Mittens, and I really loved the way that they looked on the backing itself. So I'm sort of just mimicking the way that they came on the enamel dot sheet itself and filling up that dead space above our heads. And it kind of looks like snowflakes or ornaments hanging down, and we're standing in front of the trees. And I actually, I'm normally not this kind of scrapbooker. I'm doing things in this December daily that I don't normally do, obviously. But I really, really like the way that this filled up the space, and it looks decorative and festive and fun, and it was really, really cute. I think it looks great. So that's all that matters, right? I had fun. And then I decided that if I was going to put them there, I also wanted to fill up some of the dead space on this photo too. So I'm going to add some around the doggy's feet. And that finalized this layout and made it look finished to me in a way that it did not before, and it made me happy. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you. If you don't already, you can follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Tracy M. Reed. I'd love to see you over there as well. There is a link in the description box below to the blog post for this layout with all of the credits and still images if you're interested in those. And I will see you tomorrow for day 7. All right. Thank you.